accepted. So, well, sir, it's just like an attorney said to me the other day when I pointed out that wasn't evidence. Where's your actual facts? And then he hits you with the ad hominem. No amount of facts that I give you or no amount of evidence is going to convince you. So I said, oh, that's right. When all else fails, call your opponent a retard. Oh, that's what you pay $100,000 for an education for?
Yeah.
At the ad hominem?
Yeah.
I may not necessarily frame the objection as a logical fallacy. It may be a formal objection that I'll make. So it may just be that it's non-responsive.
Okay.
It wasn't. I asked for facts. It's like if I asked for, this is a very common one, especially with the IRS guys. You say, what facts do you have to actually, to prove that the Constitution and Code actually apply to me? And I said, well, that's a frivolous argument. The courts have long rejected that, Mark. What the hell are you talking? So I will say, objection, it's non-responsive. I asked a question. I'm not raising an argument. I won't necessarily say, oh, it's a straw man.
Yeah, okay, I see.
I mean, I do, but I don't. It's not something that's necessary to do. I think, when I teach people when we're doing the show, I think it's important that people recognize the fallacy for what it is, so that they can't object. The important thing is that they say objection, and if they say it's a logical fallacy, that should be enough to overcome, to have the objection sustained. He's not answering the question.
Yeah. So
I remember. Oh, I'm sorry. The turtle's all the way down to
Yeah. No problem.
Oh, it's been a long week, my friend.
No problem.
So you ask them what facts they rely on to prove the Constitution applies, and they'll cite their code. So, well, but I'm asking you what evidence there is that applies. What they'll do is they'll quote a court opinion. Mm-hmm. That court opinion will then quote another court opinion, which is just one lawyer quoting another lawyer. So you've got your opinion. Well, what supports your opinion, sir? Oh, the court said this, and it's turtles all the way down.
Yeah. So it's basically So what would that be? What fallacy would that be? Just appeal to tradition, maybe?
I don't know if it's technically an appeal to tradition. I can't remember the actual name for. I always just refer to it. It's turtles all the way down.
Okay.
And in court, they're like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And then I can explain, how fallacious that is. And sometimes I'll even give. Oh, well, that's like it comes from the old urban legend that somebody had asked, what is the earth rest on? Well, that my dear is a giant elephant. What is the elephant on? Well, that's simple. It's a turtle. Well, it's a turtle. And so then you're able to explain. I'm asking you for the evidence that your argument is based on. You're giving me another argument, or you're giving me an opinion, and you're giving me nothing of substance to support your argument. Mm-hmm. What it comes down to is it's an appeal to an authority.
That's it. Yeah, right. Appeal authority, because the authority has jurisdiction or has.
It's right.
Right.
Because a lawyer said so. Yeah, it's right because a lawyer said so.
Yeah.
So they'll make fun of us if you view it if you take a rational, objective view of it. Mm-hmm. They will turn around and say it's funny. The courts call that. They don't call that a logical fallacy. They call it precedent.
Yeah, that's right. You were saying that. Yeah.
Oh, is it still an opinion? Well, okay, so you're saying that your argument is correct because a dead lawyer said it was. Now, if you gave me the basis that lawyer used to come to that conclusion, well, I got something to work. That's not an appeal to an authority. Mm-hmm. That he just happens to be an authority who has a logical basis for the argument. But they don't. And the best that they can do is, if you don't like, appeal it.
Which is similar to, asking somebody, if you're an abolitionist for slavery, and they say, well, how can you be against slavery? We've always had slavery. Centuries we've... right? How could you be against it? How could you be against slavery? So appealing to tradition is not a... it's not a logical argument at all whatsoever. It's,
it's absolutely no support for the argument that slavery should be good. It's just like with the logical fallacies that they use, and I know you mentioned ad baculum, which is one of their favorites. Usually what they have is three main ones for the purpose of trying to support the concept of government and show that it's moral. So instead of actually having facts, they have three logical fallacies. Well, it's an appeal to authority. Well, it's the government. Oh, okay. That doesn't that doesn't support the argument. They're just people. Two, you have the appeal to popularity. Mark, I heard an attorney do this several times in trial this week up in Alaska, and we knew to address this beforehand because they all do it. And this is it. We've heard it a million times. We all know we're supposed to pay taxes.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and it's just like there's so many other ones that you can have. I'd love to have one with Bill O'Reilly, where they say, so many people believe this. Yeah, Bill, do you believe in Islam? Are you a Muslim? Oh, you're not. Well, how can a billion people be wrong? So the appeal to authority means nothing. The last one, this actually came out in an article that I wrote about Jerry Cobb, who's a spokesman for the Maricopa County attorney, the head prosecutor guy. Mm-hmm. And he said, this is the argumentum ad baculum. So my question is, what evidence supports your argument the code applies to me because I'm physically in Arizona? Okay, so that's my question about his argument. His support was every inmate in our prisons is evidence the laws apply. So I even spoke to him, and I said, you're telling me the support for your argument is true because you put other people in prison.
Exactly.
So if you go to the website, I actually did a really good Photoshop job.
I saw that.
You saw that. So your argument that the laws apply to me is true because you put other people in prison. Wow.
Yeah, and coercion does not equal consent, right?
Yeah, and I'm like, what are you? He confirmed that the county attorney actually signed off and wrote part of this garbage. So like, you're trying to tell me that if I'm standing in court, okay, and it's beyond a reasonable doubt, even jurisdiction, if you're in civil or criminal, whatever burden applies throughout the whole thing. So even things that have to be proven, like jurisdiction at pretrial, or at arraignment. We're standing there in court, and I'm asking you for the facts that you have jurisdiction over me, and you're honestly going to say the other people you've put in prison prove you have jurisdiction over me?
The people we have already beaten and sent into rape cages is proof. Stop badgering me.
Yeah, and as anarchists, the whole reason why you're an anarchist is because you've cleared your mind of a lot of contradictions. You're thinking a lot more clear. I mean, we still have some, of course. But we can see that. But there are psychological reasons that I go through in the book where the average person cannot process this information. So when your job depends on taking people's money by force, by forcing other people to give you money, you won't see a moral issue with that. And anybody who questions that is questioning you personally, because that's how you live. And so the brain just kind of shuts down. It's like the amygdala takes over, and it's like, fight or flight. Mm-hmm. And rational thought is gone. It's quite sad. I saw that a number of times in person with tragedy up in Alaska this week. You have to see it. It's like there was a study that I read about where they were studying perception and how strong perception was over the facts. And they changed the color of playing cards. So instead of a spade being black, they made it red. Mm-hmm. And so when they put it up to somebody and it didn't match their perception, they didn't know what it was. The brain can't process the information, the facts right in front of them. If
they were taught for it to be one thing, you're saying, right? If you're indoctrinated one way, you're physically not incapable. Yeah, yeah, like my kids. I have 2 kids, 4 and 2, and I go out with them a lot to parks and libraries, right? All stolen funded, stolen currency funded, and people tell me, you're such a hypocrite. How can you be an anarchist and you take advantage of library? I'm like, where else am I going to go? And also, you use the roads. What a hypocrite. How am I going to get to places if I don't use the road? What do you expect me to do? So you get that? I guess I have gotten that, but mainly from really pissed off radio show hosts. Uh-huh. Not too many people. Most of the people I know don't bother talking to me. If they disagree, we just avoid the subject. But they know I don't pay taxes. They know I actively encourage people not to pay taxes. And they know that there are certain things where you have no choice, like you just mentioned. I think
The big one where you're a hypocrite would be if you file for bankruptcy. That because you have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks that you may be in that position because some lunatics in Washington D.C. and New York City and London, cause. I get that,
Yeah, yeah,
but you don't have to necessarily do it. Another one is you don't have to accept Social Security.
yeah.
So I know Jeremy Carl Watner at voluntarius.com writes. He's got a number of articles about that. You don't have to. So that's where you could be seen as is contradicting your beliefs. But going to a park, I mean, you don't. Come on, give me a better argument than that for hypocrisy.
Yeah, I mean, my kids, it's funny, like now that the school year just started, all you see are books on, first day of kindergarten, first day of first grade, first day of middle school, first day. And it's funny, like, they're not going to be anywhere near those places. And it's going to be interesting for them growing up because, all the time I see school buses coming back and forth. I can't separate the similarities between school and prison. I don't know. Have you made these correlations? Like, there's a lot of interesting similarities between these two. Not least of all is that they both use the same vehicle